Alright guys, wanted to do a video on my guitars that I have made like Yngwie's. So this one is where it all started, honestly. I bought this guitar in the 90s. It started off life as a Fender Stratocaster Squire Bullet series. Obviously a very inexpensive Fender. I've turned it from that into a very well playing machine. You know, I'd put this side by side with any of my American or Japanese Fender YJMs after proper setup and, you know, lots of work and good parts. So up top, I removed one of the string trees. That's what Yngwie does, so figure if he does, it's probably good enough for me. I left the other one on. That's the factory string tree for this guitar. The tuners are just the generic tuners that it came with, nothing special, but they hold tune really well, so why not keep them? I wound up doing the logos myself with spray can lacquer, so not a terribly great job, but you know, it's par for the course for this guitar. It wasn't meant to be a perfect copy or, you know, try to fool anyone or anything, because I'm planning on keeping this. Serial number on this one is kind of in the same area as the ones for the American Fenders. This one, the skunk stripe is a bit darker, you know, who knows why. But the scallops, I did those myself. They're somewhat similar to, I'd say, the US first version, in that they're not incredibly deep, but they're pretty even from fret to fret. The reason why they're not incredibly deep is because I started running into the side fret markers, and I didn't really want to scallop those out of there, so I left them and just didn't scallop quite as deep, although in the upper frets they are still a little bit deeper. I went with the YJM loaded pickguard, so it has the 5-way switch and a regular tone knob, so it doesn't have the tone bypass at 10, but all American made stuff. Got the American made Fender jack plate and jack, and I wound up getting an American bridge from a 2010 YJM off of eBay, which of course didn't bolt right in, so 2 of the bolts did bolt right in, and then I just used my drill press and drilled them straight down and put the other ones in there. So far so good. Fender neck plate on the back. This one is an American Fender neck plate. So basically the only stuff that remains original is of course the wood, finish, frets, some of the hardware and everything. So it's a pretty good mix of stuff. The plate here is still the original, which oddly is somewhat see-through. I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see the outline of the wood. So that's that one. Then I've got my 77. So this one is a 1977 Fender Stratocaster, original 70s. I got it as kind of a project guitar. It didn't really have much parts with it, so it is a parts caster, but for being a parts caster, this thing plays freaking amazing. I absolutely love it. Look at the incredibly terrible neck joint right here. That's what a lot of people complain about, but honestly, when I'm playing it, my hand never runs into it, so I don't really think it's that bad. The scallops on this one are a little bit deeper than on the Squire because the side fret markers were also a little bit deeper. But you can see on some of them, I started running into the fret marker on the side, so that's when I kind of stopped and knew that I had to, you know, move on to the next fret. So I wound up putting a brass nut on it, which didn't work terribly well because these have the 7.5 inch fretboard radius versus the 9.5 inch fretboard radius. So basically I had to kind of file out some of the middle so that it would settle down in there, and then just kind of filled the ends with glue. Original Shaler tuners. Shaler, I don't know how you pronounce it. I've never looked into it. But I really like them and how they work. Still has obviously the bullet, and you can tell right here somebody had put some sort of stupid string locking bullshit on it at some point, and yeah, but still has the original serial number and logos. Obviously very well worn. You can see lots of natural relicking, so to speak, and I like it. It plays really good actually. And for the body, obviously it was an original white guitar which has aged quite well. You can see, you know, what it may have kind of looked like in the beginning, but I'm sure it was much brighter than that. Kept the 3-bolt neck because, you know, I'm not a professional musician, so I don't really run into the neck moving around on me a lot. I mostly play sitting down. You know, so it doesn't really matter. This bridge, I think I picked it up also from another YJM guitar, so at least it's a YJM bridge for a YJM style guitar. Nice steel bridge block, all the brand new hardware and everything like that. And this sticker right here actually covers, I don't know if you can see the outline, but it's a tremendous route from a Kaler tremolo that was put on it, which is obviously, yeah, same person probably put the locking nut here up on the top, so I put it back to what it's supposed to be like. Originally I was going to have that filled in professionally, but I kind of got over it once I found out that the sticker just kind of sticks on there and is exactly the size I needed. So I just kind of kept it like that. And obviously this one has, it's been worn, but works well, sounds good, tons of mojo, plays great, so no complaints. And actually, I don't know if you'll be able to notice, but the fret markers, I actually I went through those, so these are actually just Sharpie dots. Works good. The next one is Strat Like. This guitar I built in the 90s. So obviously not quite exactly YJM, but this was my first scalloped board. I scalloped frets 12 to 24, and I went all the way, you can see I went all the way to the maple on some of these. But this guitar, same thing, plays extremely well. Sounds really good. Plywood body, maple neck, rosewood fretboard, and the finish on this body is nitro. So very, very thin, many coats, many hours of sanding. I can't remember what wood this is that we used for the back plates. I'll have to find out and update. But yeah, I really dig it. Last but not least, my other favorite guitarist, which is Dimebag Darrell. Rest his soul. You know, got some of these frets scalloped out here in the upper registers. I'll probably do them all on the next string change, but I really like it, although it's very strange because, you know, my hands aren't incredibly big, but the reach on the 24 3/4 inch scale is definitely a lot more considerable, so I can see why some people like these, but since I'm used to playing the 25/5, it just feels like, what do I do here? You know, it's very strange, but that doesn't stop me from playing, obviously.